How's it going, everyone? I hope you had a great week. Today, I would like to talk about 6 habits that most animators, very productive animators, have that I think will probably be helpful to you, and maybe we'll start unveiling some of that secret sauce that they have in order to keep them focused all the time. So, let's get to it. Welcome to another episode. Routines are basically the number one thing that productive animators, productive people in general have that keeps them steady at all times. You'll find that most people that are highly productive have pretty much the same routines every single day. And the reason why routines are so powerful is because they switch off your brain from thinking about things that really shouldn't take a lot of effort in your mind, right? So you wake up, you do the same thing, you have breakfast, you perhaps have the same general things to eat that doesn't really require you to think too much as long as it's a well-balanced breakfast, right? But you basically do the same things day in, day out, no matter the day, because that way you're actually in automated mode. And then what happens after you have routines for a very long period of time is that because it's so automated, after a while, you're just going to start unlocking your brain and not even thinking about the routine, about the things that you're doing. You're going to be thinking about how can I actually be creative, what else can I do, and you're going to be like in a zone, basically, right? Because those things don't take any power off your mind because you already know how you're going to do them. I can focus on my craft, I can actually do the best work that I can do, and I know that I'm going to do it well because my day's planned out, I know exactly what to do, and I just have to do it now. I haven't met one person just yet that doesn't struggle with procrastination, being lazy, sitting on your sofa after a hard day's work and actually feeling like you don't know what to do except for watching TV, chilling, watching Netflix, all that good stuff, right? How do productive animators, productive people actually get around this procrastination issue that we all have? Most productive people, most productive animators that I've met, they procrastinate productively. It means that you're doing something that takes your brain from work or from actually feeling stuck or feeling like you just want to switch it off. Doing that, but actually doing something that perhaps augments your work. So something that inspires you. So for example, I was watching The Last Dance, right? The documentary on Netflix about the life of Michael Jordan. So to me, that is really inspiring because I get to see how someone else that I look up to has lived their life and what kind of choices they have made in order for them to be better. That means that I was actually switching off my brain from everything that I had to do, and I was looking at someone else's life and way of working and all that stuff and feeling inspired by it. It meant that when I left the sofa or I finished or I switched off the TV, I went to bed feeling like, you know what, I need to seize the day tomorrow. I need to actually be better. I need to work harder. I need to actually be focused on my craft and just be passionate about what I do. So that's what I mean about being productive while actually procrastinating as well, right? Try to selectively choose where you're going to spend your time doing what. For me, for example, I watch sometimes anime. That actually inspires me and makes me feel like I want to push my animation in very interesting ways that is not the regular path of animation, the American cartoony Disney way. It's a I read books from time to time in order to actually kind of see and read how other people live their lives. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a book about animation. Ready Player One is an amazing example that actually got me really, really inspired about thinking bigger and being imaginative and just being creative. Things like that are the things that you can spend your time really enjoying your time away from the computer and just like relax and not have to think about work. But at the same time, a big part of that stuff that you do will in turn inspire the work that you're going to do on a daily basis. So when I'm not thinking about animation, when I'm not animating, when I'm not directing now, and managing my team and doing these videos, I need to think, what else can I do to actually kind of inspire and fuel all these things that I have going on. So yeah, make sure that you procrastinate productively and you use your time as wisely as possible so you can fuel that passion that you have every single day, especially weekends. So distractions is something that some people embrace, and people that are very productive try to reject as much as possible. Anything that distracts from the now, anything from distracts from getting that productivity out, they actually do away with as fast as possible. Life is short, and therefore you only have a certain amount of time to actually put all of your strength into making your craft better. So avoiding distractions of any kind that don't really mean anything to you doesn't really pay well, and it means that all the work or all the time that you had before to actually perfect your craft or do the work that you wanted to do is now being taken over by this thing that you really didn't anticipate. And by distractions, I'm talking about distractions as in things that don't really have anything to do, and they're just wasting your time, and you know it's wasting your time, and you constantly find yourself doing them. You know, those things that you just think, why do I keep doing this? Like, I know that this is a distraction, and I know that I can do better, and I shouldn't be here wasting my time doing this thing. I should be maybe spending my time doing this other thing that I thought it was much better use of my time. Those things are the things that I'm talking about, the distractions. So people that are highly productive, they constantly try to nuke those distractions as much as possible, and every single time they find themselves in this place, in this zone that actually they keep getting distracted by something that really doesn't matter, they try to actually get off from that distraction as quick as possible and set themselves in a better path. Being compassionate with yourself. That is another characteristic of highly productive animators, people in general. So this is something that I've experienced a lot in the beginning of my career, even before I was an animator. And it's this feeling of like every time you do a mistake or every time you do something that you were not supposed to, you just kick yourself for making that mistake, especially if it happens more than once, because people have a tendency to naturally do that, right? I mean, you make the mistake once, you kind of go like, okay, I'm going to try and do better. You make it again, you go like, why do I do this again? I don't get it. Okay, this time I'm definitely going to learn from it. You do it again. You're like, I'm so stupid. And you do it again. And you continuously just try to actually kind of make yourself better by kicking yourself down, because you feel like that way you're going to learn the lesson. But instead, you try to actually be compassionate with yourself. So instead of actually saying, why am I being so stupid? Why do I keep doing this over and over? Instead of feeling that way, you go, okay, I've done this once. Why do I keep doing this? Like, surely there must be a reason why I keep repeating this problem or this mistake, right? Because beating yourself down doesn't really give you any result, but trying to analyze why you actually make the same mistake over and over actually will give you some results, because next time you make the same mistake, you have learned from the previous mistake, and slowly you get out of that routine that you keep finding yourself in. And that's the most important thing. That's why you need to be compassionate with yourself. Instead of being harsh, you just go like, you know what? Everyone's human, everyone makes mistakes. I made a mistake here. What can I learn from it? That is the best way for you to actually get out of that routine. At least that's what I found. And most people that are really productive do exactly the same thing. Inspiration is something that you should take advantage of, but you should not rely on it. Because what happens is, inspiration doesn't come to you all the time. It comes to you in certain points that you feel like you're flowing. You feel like, man, this day is great. I can actually find answers for every single thing that comes my way, and then I can just like find a creative solution, and I can put it down, and I know that I can feel good because this is going to be badass. This is going to be so amazing when I'm finished. But the reason why you shouldn't really rely on it is because you cannot be on that state of flow, in that state of inspiration all the time. So what happens in the days that you're not inspired? So a lot of people actually don't do anything because they feel like, because I'm not inspired, I should not do anything until that heat of inspiration hits me again. And then at that point, I will go on and do my work again, because only in that state of inspiration I can actually do my work. People like that normally don't really find a lot of work, and if they do, it's fleeting and just lasts for a very short period of time. So this is why you should not rely on inspiration. You should learn how to live with it and make the most of it whenever you have it. Think about this quote: just because focus leads to inspiration doesn't mean that inspiration should lead to focus. Meaning, you should decouple those two things. You should be able to focus on your craft and still do really good work without the inspiration. But whenever you have inspiration, you actually focus extra awesomely into whatever you want to do and actually do it better. You can constantly be focused on your craft by actually following the previous steps that I mentioned. And then whenever you have inspiration, it's like a peak. You're like, now we're going to get the job done at a very high level. Whenever you don't have inspiration, you kind of turn it down a little bit and you're like, okay, I'm going to have to be professional about this. I'll be focused on this situation and I'll do the best I can because I don't have a lot of inspiration right now, but I can still function and I can still be professional about it, which means that people that are paying me to do a job, they will constantly feel almost like you're inspired all the time. But that's not really the truth. The truth is, inspiration comes sometimes, and then on those times that inspiration doesn't come along, then on those times you just focus on your craft, you're being professional about it, knowledgeable, and you just deliver, right? Every single day. That is how you actually can use inspiration to your advantage, especially when you're actually in this focus state, in this delivering professional state. People that are highly productive, animators that are highly productive, they focus on their values, and their values are everything to them. You're not really stiff about it. You're not really completely like boxed in. Those rules can change, but it's basically the set values that actually make you a good whatever comes next, a good animator in this case, right? Those values are very clear, and most productive people have very clear values, and those values can actually kind of apply to anything: the way you work, the way you deal with people, the way you actually kind of portray yourself in a business environment, the way you portray yourself with your friends. Those things are very clear to people that are highly productive. The real secret here when it comes to having values is to constantly work and focused on getting better values as you go along. For example, for me, I think that being a good boss is being empathetic with your employees. I also think that creativity lives in an environment that people can actually speak out and they can actually feel like themselves. They don't have to portray any kind of image, and they, to me, can actually feel like they have a buddy, they have a friend, they have someone that can support them. That is a value to me whenever I work with my team, for example. I feel like having a very heavy hand or being too bossy or being too militant in a creative environment doesn't work. I haven't seen it work before, and I doubt I'll ever see it work going forward. So therefore, I try to stay away from that as much as possible. That's another value. I also try to be very professional when it comes to business meetings, but if I'm actually having a beer with my workmates, I try to be as relaxed as possible, because there is a balance there to be had. I cannot be professional at all times, and I feel like I'll be faking it, or I'll be like false if I actually were to be professional all the times, because that is not in my nature. I like to be myself and to actually kind of tell jokes and talk loud or whatever it is that comes to my mind whenever I'm with my friends and all that stuff, that good banter. Those things need to be very clear to you if you actually want to be very productive, because it's almost like a base from where you can actually kind of step in or step up and actually continuously be better, right? Because those values will actually start meaning more and more to you. Sometimes those values will crumble and they will mean nothing. You thought something was very important. You'll see either someone else doing it better, or perhaps life teaches you that that is not the way, and those crumble, and then you can set another set of values. So if it's not that, what is it? So one way or the other, you'll find an answer. But having clear values is definitely the way to go if you want to be a productive animator. I used to think growing up that everyone was like myself, and if I could do it, anyone could do it. And I actually grew up with quite a few friends that were incredibly talented. I mentioned it here in the channel before, much more talented than I was. And till this day, I feel really bad because they would have been much better than I am at doing what I'm doing right now. But this 6 principles or 6 rules of being productive and being focused definitely make the difference between the ones that make it and the ones that don't. There's a lot of people that actually falter in one of these 6, and they feel like they're missing something. Some people can never find it. Some other people know about it, but they just shut it down. So especially when it comes to procrastination, right? Or having clear values, or like saying no to certain things, questioning yourself. Those things are things that some people actually feel like, this is me and I'm never going to change. And being so like stubborn about things is never a good thing, especially when it comes to art, because art is malleable. That's how I see it. Art is malleable. Things keep evolving, things keep changing, and unless you open your mind to actually have other rules, other values, and you can just like integrate it with your own, making your own and all that good stuff, you're never going to be yourself. You're never going to be a good artist. You're never going to be productive. So I hope this has helped you guys. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you find any of these 6 rules in a way of productive animators, productive people, if they resonate with you. I hope they do. And if they do, then let me know if you are either faltering on any, or if you're following all of them and maybe having some results. I'd love to hear some more about your experience with this. But that's all I had for this week. So until next time, stay well, stay safe. Peace.